it's a long, it's a long process, long journey. Um, I usually say like I started writing when I was around 6, maybe earlier than that. Um, but and then I used to say I didn't start writing poetry until like 2012. And then I realized recently that that's not entirely true because I found like some poems that I had written like 2 years before that, like 2010, and they were terrible. It was me saying, "Doth thou speakest with the," yeah, it was terrible. And also around this time was kind of when I found like poetry online, like in the form of like spoken word. And I kind of was like, oh, I didn't know you could do poetry that way. You know, I was used to like Shakespeare and stuff, which I really hated at that time at least. So, absolutely yes, which is why most people do it. Because I mean, even if the world is like just yourself, like that's still like a remarkable thing. Like even if the world means like one other person apart from yourself, like that's still a significant thing. So yes, poetry can change the world. Absolutely yes. Either like my own lines or like other people's words kind of help in like navigating the world. And also like poetry is one way to come to like find answers. Like it doesn't necessarily offer answers, but it gives you like a way to kind of find answers. Oftentimes like when I'm writing poems, it's like me trying to figure out like what's going on in my life, like at that time in relation to like either like love or like family or just the world at large, like politics or whatever the case might be. So yes. A lot of people say this, and I used to think like I would give another different advice if I were to be asked this question. But I realized they're right when they say read. And I'll add to that like read as widely and extensively as you possibly can. And like reading, I don't mean like just like open a book, but read in terms of like watch TV shows, watch behind the scenes, listen to interviews, listen to the radio, like interviews of artists or whatever the case might be. Read works from like designers, like read works from like architects, like listen to interviews from like neuroscientists, like as widely as you possibly can, because it actually helps to make you better. Cop out answer, but life in general, like everything, I get inspired by everything, and I get very excited by just like random things. Like, oh, a bug is like carrying an ant. Like that's fascinating to me. Yeah, I get inspired by everything. Ooh. So I have this philosophy where I don't necessarily believe in like good poems and bad poems. I just know like, yeah, I don't know. I listen to a lot of bad poetry, and I also listen to a lot of quote-unquote good poetry. Poem can be good in what it's trying to do and still be a bad poem. And I think that's what matters. Like if the poem is doing its job, then does it make it a good? I don't know. But I can answer how to be an effective poet as opposed to being a good poet. An effective poet or an effective poem is a poem that's actually doing what it wants to do for itself. If it wants people to feel, if it wants to convince people, if it's doing that, then like that's an effective poem. It might be good, it might be bad. That's a different conversation. Oh my God, I have lots of favorite poets. How many should I name? In my community right about now, there are people like there that I'm like very like that are favorite poets of mine. Christopher Diaz, pretty much everybody in the community, but more especially like people like Christopher Diaz, people like Zachary Caballero, people like Ebony Stewart, people like R.J. Wright, Zach Blunt, Erica Nicole, Amir Safi. I'm gonna leave out names and I'm sorry, but yeah, there's a lot of people that just like, even if it is just one thing that they do really, really well, yeah. Or just it'll become like a 5-minute poem by itself. But if I can choose one, there is this poem by Denez Smith that I go back to a lot, and it's called Principles, and it probably isn't one poem, or maybe it is, but it's like a 7-minute long video on YouTube. So if you type Denez Smith Principles, I go back to that poem a lot. That's the one that comes to mind right now. There are quite a few other poems like that, but that's the one that I do go back to like a lot. Yeah. So my name is Ayokunle Falomo. I'll be in Galveston at the Bryan Museum Conservatory on September 27th at 7 p.m. With the Iconoclast Sessions. See you there.